everyone celebrates that 6-figure course launch, but revenue doesn't equal profit. Launch numbers don't equal repeat customers. And neither one tells you if the course is actually working to create a sustainable business for you. I'm Dr. Catrina Mitchum, and I've been designing and redesigning courses online since 2009. So revenue does not equal quality, right? All that tells you is that the marketing was on point. Shitty courses can come with fancy marketing. I literally just did a LinkedIn Live with someone on how to tell the difference between those two things. That is how common shitty courses are covered with glittery marketing. If you haven't met Dookie Monster, there he is. And I created him because this is such a common problem. But strong marketing and a poor course design means that you might have some initial sales. You might even have fantastic initial sales. But if the outcomes are poor, so people are not getting the results that they came to you for, you're not going to get repeat customers. You're going to have to keep recreating the wheel, right? You're going to have new courses, new guides, all of these new things, because not only will those customers not come back, they're going to start talking about you, about how your course was garbage. And we don't want that, right? You can sell just about anything once. With fancy marketing, you might even be able to sell it a few times. But getting results from the actual course itself for your clients means that, one, you give a shit about them, and two, it means that you're building a sustainable business, because they're going to want to come back to you for everything that they need on this particular topic. And getting hyped up over launches covers up problems in the course design until people actually get inside of it. I've talked about this before, but Threads and Reddit both have "don't take this course" lists, right? Because people were selling these courses a lot of times at a high price point, and they weren't great. They weren't getting people results. And so what we don't want is we don't want a gap between successful launch and students got results, right? We want both things to happen. Launch numbers just tell you that the marketing was effective, not that the course was actually effective. Testimonials about the creator themselves, like "so-and-so is inspiring and motivating and fantastic to work with." Things that use vague terminology don't tell you if the course itself works. Revenue screenshots. So like if they've done a launch and they're showing you, "this is how much I made in this launch." They don't show things like refund rates. They don't show where some of that money is going to pay the team that's helping them with all of this fancy marketing. They don't show completion rates or transformation rates, better yet. There are a lot of things that you can't see in successful launch rhetoric that would tell you whether or not a course is actually going to be successful. And you don't want a course like that. And you don't want to buy a course that's like that. So one of the things that I do in my business is I do course audits and certifications and that kind of thing. What I look for when I'm analyzing courses is, one, do we have some clear measurable outcomes? Like, do we know what, if I buy your course, do I know what I'm working toward? What am I supposed to be able to do? What skills should I have? What is my outcome? Right? Those things should be clear. I look for a lot of other clear things, but that's the big one. That tells me a lot about what the rest of your course design might look like. I also look for scaffolded content. These are things that make a course completable and clear. So, does each piece that you're having them do build on each other logically? Have you broken things down into enough smaller steps that they are actually achievable? We want them to be able to do these actions and take these steps. If there aren't even any actions, then we've got a whole other issue, because that third thing that I look for is that there are action-based activities, right? We do not learn by pouring information into our head. We do have to consume and engage with content, but we also have to apply it in order to later be able to recall that information. So, are students doing things, or are you just having them consume? I also look for learner support and wayfinding, right? So can they navigate between things? Can they get in there first? And then can they get in there and move around without getting lost? And then I look for evidence of iteration, right? So have you very clearly gone in and made adjustments and tested and refined and asked for feedback. Those are the things that are really important in making sure that a course is well designed. I also look for accessibility, and that might even be the umbrella under which all of those other things fall. Is the course accessible? And while there are other things like on the audit checklist, it all kind of boils down to these things. Is it clear? Is it completable? Is it accessible? Okay, so why can and how can testimonials be misleading, right? So if somebody is saying something like, this course changed my life, okay, how? In what way? What results did you get? How did you apply what you learned in the course? Did you actually complete it? Did you reach the goals that you came for, right? So a lot of emotionally charged language without evidence can be misleading without further questioning. Things like, this instructor is amazing. That is fantastic, but that still says nothing about the design of the course. Does the course design work? Does it help you get from point A to point B? Social proof about the person is not proof that the instructional design is sound or that it's going to be a good learning experience. And there's a long-term cost with that. There's a long-term cost with prioritizing, talking about revenue goals over good course design. So you don't get referrals. Students that don't get results will not rave about you. They will not. When they hear someone's struggling with a problem that they probably still have, they definitely are not going to recommend you. They also are not going to be repeat customers. I think the last time I looked up the statistic, it was like 80% of revenue for small businesses, and this was a few years ago now, comes from repeat customers. Right? And so you lose all of that time, all of that energy, all of sometimes money that you poured into trying to get this person as a customer. You lose them, and you lose any referrals that they might have given you. And that can make marketing harder. You can't rely on word of mouth. You can't rely on case studies, and you could potentially have your reputation damaged. If you're wondering whether or not your course actually works from a learning design perspective, I do have the checklist that I use for those audits free in the description. In next week's video, I'm going to talk about why course platforms are a little bit sus. If it's not there, it will be there next week.